What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaliyah Michelle.
And I'm Purple. And this is? Is it? Or is it not?
It's a hot cousin combo, but...
Alright, let's start over.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaliyah Michelle.
And I'm Purple. And this is Hot Cousin Combo
with Purple
and Lee. Alright, so look here, not here, only because this is what's going on our page. Yeah, this is going to the page.
So, today is like a little touchy topic, a little pop-up topic we decided to do because in the light of the charges being dismissed against the murderers of Breonna Taylor. You want to get right into it, or you got something you want to say about it?
Can we talk about what we drinking?
What am I drinking? I didn't make my drink. I don't know what I'm drinking at this present time.
What am I drinking? Hold on, how you got a coaster and I don't?
I just saw it. I just figured that was the
good thing to do. I never use coaster. All right, here we go. Even though, you know, they're not doing the greatest. We want to use that. Okay, so I'm drinking pumpkin spice and ginger ale. And you have Henny.
Oh, Henny. Oh, I thought it was.
So we could just jump into it. So, I was at work. And I didn't even know they was making an announcement. I just so happened to go on Facebook and I saw it. And one of the things that I did not like, and it seems like it happens so much in the media, is headlines, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times, and I know we see it all the time, people will post up an article or something on social media. A lot of people only read the headlines. What I didn't like is it said, what did it say? It said something along the lines of grand jury indictment announcement on Breonna Taylor's shooting, right? Which led you to believe that somebody was indicted for her shooting. And we all know by now that that's not the case. So I guess we could start with the whole indictment situation. So it was 3 officers, and I'm mad that I think this has been the first case that I've followed from the beginning to that. So like I now know like names and all of that stuff. But Hankinson is the cop that was charged with wanton endangerment. Yeah. Because he blindly shot into the apartment, and then as a result of blindly shooting into the apartment, he also shot into another apartment. There was people in there that he almost hit, right? Right. But nobody was actually indicted for shooting Breonna Taylor and killing Breonna Taylor. And we all know that's not who Louisville is definitely like going crazy. So there's still a federal investigation that I'm like trying to hold on to hope for maybe that will have a separate outcome. Only because if you really listen to all the facts and things that happen when it comes to this whole situation, like 90% of it don't make sense.
Yeah, I was saying that from the beginning.
Like,
it makes sense.
So, I guess we can start with the warrant because that's how everything.
Yeah.
started.
When did I find out? I think, and I'm not gonna lie, when they put the documentary thing out on Hulu, I was kind of upset because I just figured like this is too soon. They haven't even talked about the charges or anything yet, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it anyway. And I actually ended up finding out that they lied on the affidavit to obtain the warrant in the first place.
Okay. And what did they lie about? Because I watched it after you. I think I watched it the same day they did the grand jury announcement. I didn't even know. I haven't been on Hulu in forever. I didn't even know it was on there.
Yeah, I'm always on Hulu.
Until that day, because of course the day of the indictment, you go on Hulu. It's the first thing that you see. Mm-hmm. So, but when it comes to the affidavit, what did you see that they lied about?
Basically, they lied and tried to say that they saw. Basically, they said they saw her bring something into her apartment or something like that, and it was like, my thing is, the whole entire way they went about it, like even bringing all the cops and everything, like you would have thought that she was a fucking queen pin. The way they, first of all, they asked for, they saying that they asked for a no-knock warrant. But they only do that shit when they know they might have to like do some shit for us. I was like, yo lied on the affidavit in order to obtain the warrant, and that's actually one of my questions though.
So one of the things about that, and you just like triggered something for me, is one of the things they said, and I haven't only watched the documentary. I've actually like read up on some articles and stuff that was from back when it happened and currently. So another thing that they said is they knew she was home by herself. So like, why so much force? Why you need a no-knock warrant for somebody that... So they were saying that they didn't know she lived with her sister. They didn't know that there's a toddler there sometime during the course of the week. Yeah. They thought she was there by herself. So if y'all thought that, what do you need a no-knock warrant for?
I just feel like I don't know. I honestly wanted to look more into this guy that was already in jail that they claimed she was involved with.
Her ex.
Yeah, because I'm like, I personally feel like they don't really have a case against him, and that's who they really want.
So this is what I'll tell you, and I found this out today, because like I said, I did some reading. They offered him a plea deal to implicate her in the whole narcotic situation.
I'm not surprised.
So that was one of the things. I'm actually going to bring it up because I was like, oh, wait a second.
I wondered it the whole time, though.
So it says a plea offer raised concerns for officials pursuing Glover, a twice convicted drug dealer, to finger Taylor in an effort to help justify the embarrassing raid that sparked a national outcry. Part of the documentary said that even when it came to the warrant, I think they said they had like 70 officers out. Mm-hmm. It was a makeshift thing where like none of the officers ever worked together. So they was just like they was winging it.
Yeah.
They was in there, they was out there winging it. So my thing with the warrant is that they said he was receiving packages there. They on a number of occasions saw him at the residence. They also saw her at one of the other locations that had a warrant. Mm-hmm. So that was her connection. They also said, it was jail calls from when he was locked up. Cool. One of the main things that caught my attention is there's a timeline as to why they felt like they needed this warrant. I think their last known interaction with her and the guy Glover, was in February. Mm-hmm. They also say on the documentary that when it comes to a warrant, that the activities surrounding the warrant is supposed to be confirmed within 48 hours of executing the warrant. Mm-hmm. So if y'all have all this evidence that she's involved and y'all see him coming and going, that means y'all watching the house. Hey, right. Now I read something. I don't know if I read something or if it was in the documentary, but apparently one of the officers that was involved in the shooting did like a run through past the house to it was already an officer there keeping an eye on it. Mm-hmm. He also rolled by. But my thing is, with all of this, y'all still didn't know that she wasn't in there by herself. Y'all still didn't confirm that she was even still involved or still interacting with the guy, right? Because from what her family and people were saying is she was trying to break ties with him. Right. That was her ex. They did say that they found his mail at her apartment or something like that. But all in all, I feel like that warrant should have never been signed.
No, it shouldn't have.
Because even if she was getting packages for him or still interacting with him, that's something y'all could have
asked her.
Brought her down to the police station and questioned her.
And that's what I'm saying.
It was not. First of all, they didn't find no drugs. They didn't find no money. So clearly,
they went off of a whole what if situation, and they figured that we gonna find something. And it's just like y'all did all that and nothing happened. Y'all didn't find money. Y'all didn't find drugs. Y'all found nothing but a gun that was registered to a legal gun owner. So it's like, what did y'all do all that for? That's why I was like, let me look into this because I'm like, maybe they don't really have a case against a guy that's in jail, and they trying to build something. That's usually what they do. They try to hold you on something little, but they trying to charge them with more.
Right.
And
so
they
trying to find.
Yeah, they trying to find shit. They he used to talk to this girl. He used to be here. Oh, we're gonna put her in it. That's why they tried to get the fucking boyfriend to say, oh, just say she was in it, and we'll let you go. They couldn't charge him with anything for real, because after all that shit came out, how y'all gonna charge him? He didn't hear y'all. He didn't know y'all. It's not like he heard y'all say police and said, "Oh shit, let me grab my gun." This man never went to jail. He doesn't have a criminal history. What person that's a registered gun owner is gonna wake up in the middle of the night and hear somebody say police and say, "Oh shit, let me grab my gun"? Like,
so
that doesn't
now,
even make sense.
So we talked about the warrant. Let's talk about the actual shooting. So, last minute it went from a no knock to a knock and announce, right? And now let me mind you. I don't think the change was ever put on paper. So on paper, it's a no knock.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were told to knock and announce. Do you think they announced themselves?
No.
Why do you think they didn't? Like, what tells you, or what gives you the notion that they didn't?
Sense.
Even though they said that they
I'm
did.
putting myself in his shoes, Kenneth Walker's shoes at this point. His girlfriend's asleep. They hear him banging. Man says banging on the door. Who is it?
So they not.
So they say, yeah, somebody. No, they not. They bang.
Bang.
That door was off the hinges. They banged when they door.
Bang. Okay, so they bang.
Somebody's banging on the door. Now, I don't know what happened during the course of the day. I don't know if they talked to their family members. I don't know if their family members are involved in. Somebody could have gotten an accident. Somebody trying to get in touch with them. But in my head, if my family trying to touch me, the first thing they're going to do is call my phone.
Right.
They probably, I don't know if they looked at their phone, but let's just say that they did look at their phone. They didn't have any missed calls. Who's this banging on my door? It's not like they live in the best neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's banging on their door. Okay, who the fuck is this? If they don't hear somebody, mind you, and he didn't say that they went to the door or anything. He said they screamed to the top of their lungs. So they,
who is it?
Exactly. Multiple times. They didn't say once. They said multiple times. They asked, who is it? So I can't see myself asking, who is it? Three times.
And somebody said the cops, and then I
go grab my gun. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't think they announced themselves. I feel like they already had a no-knock warrant. They went with a no-knock warrant. But they still banged for some fucking reason. I don't even know if they was fucking banging to
get the door open.
I feel like they were just trying to bang the fucking
to get the door open.
So
right.
I don't feel like they announced themselves.
Right.
I don't.
I think the biggest thing for me and what gave it away that I feel like they didn't knock is because the 911 call that Kenneth made. Mm-hmm. Right? He said, somebody shot my girlfriend. She's bleeding. Somebody. He didn't say the police.
Right.
If he knew it was the police, he would have said the police shot my girlfriend. A. B. The witness pool is like.
Yeah.
Like.
The only thing, I'm not gonna say that witnesses aren't credible, but the fact of the matter is that witness shit didn't come out until almost 3 months after the fact. So it's like cops coerce people all the time. They could have been like, listen, I know such and such that's in jail. I'm gonna make sure you get beat the fuck up if you don't tell me that we said police, or they had a nigga on there that barely spoke English, or we gonna make sure you get deported. I don't give a fuck. They gonna coerce people all the time.
This is what I'll tell you about the guy who said they heard that he heard them. He said that I think he was coming out of his apartment, and one of the cops was like, "Go in unless you want to be involved in the investigation." Right? Mm-hmm. But then, like I said, it's a number of people. The lady across the hall said that she didn't hear that.
Exactly.
She's across the hall, and it's an apartment. So that's like 2 steps. Bang, you at her apartment. So if you're banging and you're yelling police, now what they said has been misconstrued too, because one of the officers said, they said, it's the police, we have a warrant. Then somebody else said, they just said police. So there's a discrepancy in that too.
Do you think they announced themselves?
No, I don't. Now, and then another thing is like, somebody said they only said police once. Somebody said they said police a couple of times. My thing is what could have happened, and I don't think this is the case, but this is probably something that they're trying to factor in, is that they're banging, they're yelling, the cops are yelling, and nobody heard them say police. That's if they said it once.
Right.
That could have happened. Because if you're banging and saying police at the same time, I'm going to hear the bang over your voice. But even with that, there was a cop in a documentary that said he trained like police officers in the academy, and he said that he taught them when you're executing a search warrant or anytime you're announcing yourself, your voice should be able to be heard at least 100 feet away.
Right. So
even if you're banging and you're yelling police, somebody should be able to hear you, especially if she said, "Who is it?" twice.
Yelling at the top of her lungs, who is it?
Like, so it's just it's too much that doesn't make sense. The fact that what it sounds like is they never actually entered the apartment. They shot into the apartment. Mm. He shot the officer, and then they disappeared. Like, I actually have a timeline of how everything happened. When they called and dispatched and said that it was an officer down or an officer shot, the fact that he had time to call 911 goes to show that they weren't in the apartment. Right. Because if somebody shoots a cop, I would think the next move would be to arrest them. Right. But he actually had to come out of the apartment for them to arrest him, which means they left the apartment
and was standing outside telling him, "Come on, put your hands up."
Like, what?
It just seemed like y'all were, it was like amateurs. Like, I don't understand.
And that's another thing. Like, when they went over the crime scene, it was like gunshots in the ceiling. Like, who shot at the ceiling?
Probably the motherfucker that was shooting blind in the first place.
First of all, how you shoot in retaliation from some officer getting shot and then shoot?
It's not even retaliation, because in retaliation, at least you could see the person. You couldn't even see them. You weren't nowhere near the door. There's literally like, okay, so this is the door, and there's a flight of steps. He's under the steps, shooting up. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, so, how you shoot off 20 plus shots and don't actually shoot the person that shot the cop is my thing. Like,
that shit is just...
So in all reality, it seemed like everybody was blindly shooting, even though, like, if you want to be technical, it was the one cop that really couldn't see where he was shooting. But I don't think any other cops could either, because my thing is, this man said he never shot his gun outside of the range, and he managed to hit somebody. But y'all shoot into an apartment and y'all don't even hit the person who actually has the gun.
But that was my well, that leads into one of my questions, because I said, because the no-knock warrant is dangerous, because they go in there with the intent to probably shoot and kill. Mm-hmm. But because they were serving this warrant, do you think that it should have been mandatory for them to wear the body cam?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And they said the reason why they don't wear, what was the reason why they gave narcotics not wearing body cams? I don't even remember. But I feel like anytime, first of all, because it's a no-knock warrant, they said no-knock warrants are mostly if you're busting into like a drug house or you don't want anybody to destroy evidence, stuff like that. And that's why they do the no-knock warrants. That's asking for trouble. Right. I think no-knock warrants are definitely like a shoot-to-kill thing, because if they're mainly for like narcotics cases, and 9 times out of 10, if I'm selling drugs and I got money, I also have a gun. Right. So if you just bust into my spot, I'm going to open up fire. Exactly. You're going to return fire. 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to die.
Because they need to know what the fuck went on in there.
Exactly. So I definitely feel like it should have been a body cam. Now, they did release, I don't know if it was today, but a cop outside had a body cam on, which also doesn't make sense to me. It's like a very short clip. It's probably like 16, 28 seconds.
Like I'm hurt. Like, wow.
Listen, it's like 28 seconds, and on the body cam, you hear him, and you kind of see, it looks like the cop that got shot, they was like trying to help him out or whatever. Mm. They was like put him on the trunk or in the car or something. And then you see like the ground, it looks like they're about to go back in or something, and then it turns off. So it's like, how come this one cop had a body cam, but nobody else did?
Yeah, I don't feel like nobody should have been able to refuse it. They literally said, oh, they refused to wear it and said they didn't want to wear them. No, like there should have been a stipulation. Like, listen, if y'all don't go in here and raid this house, y'all need to have one of these body cams.
They also said now back to the warrant, they also said in the warrant, a lot of things didn't even, like the description of the home didn't fit her apartment. Mm-hmm. That it seemed like it was a description for one of the other locations.
Which it was though.
Because they was talking about cameras and like doors, and they were describing it, and it didn't sound like her apartment. Right. So that was another thing. What I think is crazy is the runaround they gave her mom.
Yo, when I saw that, like, I was actually surprised to see her mom on the documentary. I thought it was just some shit that they threw together. But the fact that she was on there, I'm glad that she did get on there. Because that's what really raised an eyebrow. Because, first of all, an ambulance is not supposed to leave the scene right away. There was no ambulance there when she got there. Right. And when she got there, they're like, oh, she's probably at this hospital.
I feel like they never called.
No, they said there was an ambulance there.
Okay.
But they let it leave. You're not supposed to let an ambulance leave.
Right. And
they let it leave. And they let her mom come out there and said she's probably at the hospital.
She went to the hospital knowing she was in there.
Yeah.
So she went to the hospital. She wasn't there. She came back. She said she waited an hour to talk to somebody. They told her she had to wait. I think she said 5 in the morning was a time where she actually got a chance to talk to somebody. She asked where Kenneth was, and they told her, he's down at the police station trying to tell us what happened. What I don't like is she didn't even find out that a cop shot her daughter, and she found that out on the news.
Yeah.
Like,
and she was there at the scene, like,
and they wouldn't tell her nothing. She said she was trying to get in touch with the cops. They wouldn't tell her nothing, so she finally got a lawyer. But I think 11. They said they didn't even go back in there to like her body was there until 11 o'clock the next morning. It's almost 12 hours.
And that's why I said that.
And they had to get another, for some reason, they had to get another search warrant to go back in and like do the whole like sweep and actually search and see that it wasn't no drugs there.
Any job that you had, when an incident occurs, you have to fill out an incident report. Mm-hmm. The thing that I said was shady was the fact that they turned in a blank incident report. You're supposed to list any fatalities that happened. They put on there that there were no injuries and somebody died. They didn't put none of that. They let off over 20-something shots in their apartment for nothing. Like, and didn't list that on there at all. They didn't put on there that they let off over 20 shots. They didn't put on there that she was injured. Nothing. They basically handed in a blank piece of paper like, oh, right, that's our incident report. Mm-hmm. After all this shit happened. That's why I say, yo, this shit don't sound right at all. Like, I don't think it sound right at all.
So one of the things that, because we were kind of like listening to like updates on what's going on. So Kenneth Walker, they dropped the charges with prejudice, right? Mm-hmm. What they said is they're trying to make the announcement stick because then they can charge him with attempted murder of a police officer. Mm-hmm. If they can make the announcement stick. But I've heard and read his statement more than 3-4 times, and he has not changed the fact that he did not know who it was. Right. He says it in a number of cases. He says it when they was locking him up. He says it in the interview. He says it in the interview with the cops. He says it in the interview with the news. Like, he did not know who they were.
And that's why he bringing charges against them for misconduct.
Right. Because, like I said, they said that if they can make that announcement stick, first of all, there's really no way to prove it. These witnesses, like, that gotta be a done deal.
That's done.
That gotta be a done deal.
They all over the place.
I don't even know why they even factored that in and tried to make that justify and prove that they made an announcement.
But that's because, it's strength in numbers. So if they got Kenneth Walker and maybe one other person saying that they didn't hear it, and they got 5 people saying that they did, they probably figured that that's going to make a difference, when in reality, like, listen, you got to factor in the fact that I could sleep through any fucking thing. So that shit probably could happen and I really didn't hear anything versus somebody who's write down the stuff that's like, oh, I did hear something. Versus now you got 3 other people that was coerced. Like, it's like, I don't feel like the only people that knew whether or not they said something is them cops, Breonna Taylor and Kenneth. And one person is down. So now you got 30-something, 20-something cops against one person to say that they said it's the police. So it's like, I don't know.
So there's still a federal, like I said, there's still a federal investigation going on. I know for a fact that they said after ballistics, after FBI did an investigation, because initially Louisville did their investigation and they couldn't determine what cop actually shot the fatal shot. But when FBI did theirs, they was able to tell that Cosgrove is the one that actually shot the shot that killed her. Now, like I said, it's now a federal investigation. Only God knows when that's going to be over because this took
forever.
Too long.
Yeah, way too long.
But that's it. And we're actually going to get into some of the questions that I asked on Facebook. So one of the main questions I asked was the settlement. The settlement is like one of the things that everybody was talking about when they first made the announcement. And my question, I asked it on Instagram and Facebook. If Breonna Taylor was your child, would you have accepted the settlement? Feel free to speak your piece in the comments. So this is Facebook. Would you have accepted the settlement?
I was on both sides of the fence with it. And that was only after talking to actually one of my old friend's mom. He passed away. So, but they tried to offer her something, but she didn't take it. She actually just went and like tried to get like political and stuff like that. Started a foundation, but I can understand why they took it. Let me start by saying I don't think I would take the money, but I understand probably why they took it. Only because it's like being as though it was such a public case, and they're probably just trying to move on from it. They probably took the money because it's like to say like, we're done talking about it. Like, this isn't going to happen or whatever. They're like, listen, we're going to take the money and go about our business. We just want to try to find a way to move on. Because it's like, even if they decide to stop talking about it, the world is talking about it already. Like, they can't turn on social media without somebody talking about it. They can't watch a basketball interview because all the basketball players is talking about it. They can't, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And it's like, imagine just wanting to go on social media and see a laugh and you seeing a picture of your daughter posted by a stranger. So I could understand them just wanting to be done with the situation because after a while they probably felt defeated. It was 5, almost 6 months since this shit happened. So I could understand it. Yeah, I could understand them feeling defeated and just wanting to be done with it and take the money and go somewhere and start over. But yeah, I'm not taking the money. I honestly feel like something like that would probably push me. I'll probably be in jail for. I don't know what I would do in that situation, but taking the money probably no, because I honestly feel like once I saw settlement and money, it was just like, nah, they're not gonna charge them cops. That was the first thing that flew through my mind. They're not gonna charge them.
Yeah. So I probably would have took it, but not as soon. And I'll get into that. But so we have 12 on Facebook that went up and 10 that went up. And we have some comments. So I'm gonna do 3 comments. So somebody said, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Money won't change that. Okay? Somebody said, I said yes because at least they can take the money and do something tangible with it. It's pitiful that we are still going through this. Somebody said I would have took it because at the end of the day, I know they wasn't going to charge them. So that was Instagram. That was Facebook. Now you guys know on Instagram when we do a poll, nobody can comment. So I posted the poll on our story, and I also made a post so that people could comment on it. So I'm gonna get into the poll, and I'm gonna actually tell you guys who said yes, how many people said yes, how many people said no. So we have 26% said yes, 74 74% said no. Out of those, we have 25 people said no and 7 people said yes. So when I made the post asking, I said, we have 25 people who voted. Tell us why you said yes or no. I only had one person comment, and they said, I would have accepted the settlement and then paid the assassin. I wasn't.
So basically, they gonna put a hit out.
I didn't know that was what they said. So that's So I read some of the figures when it comes. Require the city to acknowledge wrongdoing was sizable, with her family receiving more than double the amount of relatives of Eric Gardner. And then it says, while a few similar cases resulted in larger payments from $13 million to a whopping $38 million, some of them came after years of court battles. So this is what I'll say about the settlement. I don't fault them for taking it, because like you said, they probably were just trying to like move on with their life. Not taking it would have resulted in them being in court for a long period of time. That's probably not something they wanted to deal with.
Right.
Having to keep reliving and keep hearing people say what happened and all of that. So that's why I guess they probably didn't take it. I mean, that's probably why they did take it, so they wouldn't have to go through that.
Right.
And then also on the other hand, it was a civil suit. They're saying they still can bring up criminal charges.
I know so Kenneth Walker he's on prison. I'm not sure if the family is going to, but as of right now, Kenneth Walker is the only one that's pressing charges. Yeah. So, and I saw that he was pressing charges, and I'm gonna try to, because I feel like sooner or later it's going to like simmer out, and they're going to stop covering certain things. Of course. Like they're probably not going to cover his suit and his case or anything like that. I don't expect them to. But that's something I'm curious to see if he would win. I think so. Today is also they were talking about getting the transcript to the grand jury release. Because they did it with, I think they did it with Eric Gardner. They pressed for it and they got it released. Because a lot of people are saying that with the facts being what they are, that they don't think the Attorney General really pushed for the indictment of the other cops. No. And so that would definitely, I don't know if it would make a difference in what they can do about that, but it would definitely shed some light on why they weren't charged. If you didn't really push the fact that 11 people said they didn't announce, only one person said they did, that would be an issue. If you didn't really push the fact that this warrant in the first place should have never been signed. Yeah, they should have never signed that warrant. They should have never ran up in that house the way they did. If they wanted any real answers, and let's not say they, Mary Shaw, right? Is that the judge name? I'm almost sure that's I'm not even talking about the judge. I'm talking about the people that wanted the warrant in the first place. Right. But at the end of the day, they only got it because she signed it. Because they lied. Sure. So, but it was just a lot of stuff that, even with the mail, because I read that they did an investigation on the mail and had the mail looked into that he was actually getting delivered there, and it was nothing that raised any illegal flags. Yeah, they didn't have anything. They made it seem like they had all this evidence in order to run up in that house the way they did, when in reality they didn't have anything. That's why I'm like, what's the situation with them and this guy that's in jail? Because y'all didn't have the case, y'all were trying to build one. That's what it really was. Y'all trying to build a case, and then this shit happened, and that it could have been prevented. And I know it's a legal term for it, or they should be charged with falsifying his no. That shit could have been prevented. Yeah. That's why I say it's fucking murder. Y'all wanted her involved so fucking bad, and she wasn't involved. Yeah. Now, when we talk about DeMarcus Glover, remember there was also a thing saying that they had him in custody before they did her search warrant. Now, what I did see when I was doing some reading is the timing of the execution of the search warrant. Right? Initially, on the report, it says that they did the search warrant at midnight. Right?
apparently they had him in custody at midnight. They didn't do her search warrant until 12:40. But then the paperwork for his search warrant on where it says 12 is crossed out and it says 12:40. So it looks like they did both the search warrants at the same time. One of the search warrants wasn't even executed. So all of that, like, my thing is with the whole situation is why? Like, why all the extra just to, like, if y'all have the evidence and if he is doing something wrong and y'all do your job right, y'all gonna catch him. He's gonna get caught.
All of that, I'm questioning everything. Was he really doing something that bad? Like,
he was definitely doing something. He has more. They eventually found drugs and money and all of that at one of the other locations.
And it probably wasn't enough to charge him what they wanted to. And my whole thing is with shit like that, I don't like it. And the fact that they wanted so badly to make this a big ass case, it's just like, that's stupid. Mm-hmm. And I believe shit. Did y'all watch the fucking movie When They See Us? The 5 boys that had nothing at all to do with their rape, and they coerced them to sit here and sign statements to say that they did. That's why I don't put nothing past being coerced.
And that's weird to me because why would you want to? At the end of the day, if you know this person didn't do it, the person who actually did it is out there. So why wouldn't you want to find them instead of pinning it on somebody who didn't do it?
It has everything to do with the person that wanted them in the first place. You see a bunch of. They saw a bunch of black boys in the park. Okay, yeah, some people got beat up. Yeah, they probably did. They might have robbed somebody for a little bit of money, but they didn't hurt nobody.
So what about Breonna's situations you think her race plays a part in?
I feel like it plays a part in everything. Honestly. And I don't want to put race into it, but it's just like, listen to everything that happened over the year with white people doing stuff versus black people doing. And this brings me back to fucking Michael Vick. He was fucking had dogs fighting and he went to jail for 2 years. Yet somebody can go shoot up a church and y'all take this nigga to Burger King. Like, it just doesn't make sense. We get treated as if we're guilty. It's not no innocent until proven guilty. We're guilty unless we can prove otherwise. And even if we can prove otherwise, they still want to hold us for something. So I think her race does definitely play a part. Mm-hmm. It's always going to play a part. If you see a fucking white person with a hood on jogging down the street, you ain't going to think nothing of it. But you see a nigga with a hood on jogging somewhere, he looks suspicious.
Yeah, black people don't jog. That's fine.
And true. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, race is always going to play a part. It's not like we're putting race in it. It's because of race.
So, do you think that if Kenneth Walker didn't have a gun, that this would have ended differently?
Yes.
How would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
Because they handled that whole situation immaturely from the rip.
So you feel like from the door they was going in to kill somebody?
Bitch, it was me and you over there for real. We don't know what the fuck we doing. We just ran in there. Oh, we gotta work. Like it just seemed like a bunch of
I was just telling Famous. Shout out to Famous. He back here, y'all, being creepy. I don't know what's going on, but I was just telling Famous, like, the way they talk about how many shots went into that house and where they landed, I really feel like they got there and was like,
seriously.
Because, like I said, how somebody who only have shot their gun in a range actually hit a target and y'all hit the wrong person 6 times or 8, because the numbers are off too. When I read, some of them say she was sick. As recently, they said she was hit 6 times. But prior, probably back in like May, there's a couple of articles that said she was hit 8 times.
Yeah, when that story first came out, they said she was shot in her sleep. She wasn't shot in her sleep. She was awake. Right. She was awake. She was asleep when it first started. But she did get shot in her sleep. She was awake when it happened.
So you managed to, not to mention that over 20 shots was let off.
Right.
And y'all don't even shoot the person that shot at y'all.
It's just the whole situation was handled poorly by a bunch of fucking rookies, it seemed like.
Yes.
It wouldn't have ended differently. Whether he shot at y'all or not, I just feel like y'all would have started shooting any motherfucking way. That's what I feel like.
Well, this was our pop-up episode. We were open to like letting people come on the live, but I don't know how many viewers we got. whoever out there, whoever watching, we appreciate y'all. If you're not watching live and you're watching the episode, then, you know, we appreciate y'all for watching. We did want to pop up and do this episode. We do want to let y'all know that we still have pre-recorded episodes that we're going to be dropping, but we wanted to, you know, do this. And every now and then when stuff is going on, and me and Lee, we talk a lot. So, and I kind of riled her up a little bit. I was like, you see the,
listen, I was at work like this. I ain't watching that shit. Then it was just like, she said,
like, fuck that shit. Yo, if I could show y'all our text thread, I'm like, alright, but what if this? She was like, because I was like, alright, we gonna take it to the show. We gonna talk about it. So, that's what this episode was. Always follow us on Instagram, Cartels and Convo with 2 S's. Follow us on join the group on Facebook, Cocktails and Convo with 2 S's. And most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube. I try to make sure, that was my phone, and I hope my screen ain't. But I try to make sure I tell y'all to subscribe, because anytime we drop new episodes or behind the scenes or anything like that, you will get a notification. So it's best that you just subscribe. Make sure you catch up on our past episodes. I think we 14 now.
Yeah.
That's not including Blackout June or the ones that we haven't dropped yet. So we got a nice amount of episodes. So make sure you guys go to our YouTube, check that out. I have people who ask me questions or ask us to ask questions that we've already asked on previous episodes. So check those out.
Send
and then
drink suggestions. Suggestions, send music.
We actually have a episode coming up, music based. So we'll get into that. If you guys pay attention to our posts, you'll start to see a lot of posts about music. We actually already made a couple, but if you have music, we do need the file version of it so that we could use it. But yeah, if you have questions, we're opening it. Our guest list is still open if you would like to be a guest. What else? That's it?
I think that's it.
We about to go out of town, y'all, so we definitely had to do this today. But that's it.
I think that's it.
See y'all.